managed to get hold of one of these Unibraces. Heard loads of good things about them. I thought I'd put how I installed it in my car on YouTube. So this is what you get in the kit, the brace itself. There's a downloadable instruction manual, which is just there. The kit I've got, there's the nut inserts, the nuts themselves, and also the nut insert tool. If you've never used one of them before, they do come with instructions. They're quite easy to work out. So you screw on the insert itself onto that piece. So tighten it up. Once you've drilled the hole, put this into the hole here, and then span around there, socket around there, and as you tighten this up, it starts to pull it away. And what will happen, that will start to mushroom out, and that will hold itself into place. So things you're going to need: obviously the brace itself, and the tools. So vacuum cleaner, drill, screwdriver, scribe, various sockets, bits and pieces, hex keys, hammer, because you'll always need a hammer, drills, and bungees, and obviously a cup of coffee. So first thing you're going to want to do is take everything out the boot. This is a Mark 5 GTi, and what you're going to want to do, I'm going to take this little plastic cover off. You just sort of pull it and lift up. And it will come out. I'm going to remove that screw, which is one of these funny things. And there's a metal tag. Just pull it up, push forwards, and you kind of wiggle it out. So that's what it looks like. That now releases the seats, so you pull up on one side and you just pull across. And that will remove the seat. So the other side is held in on that pin. So you just pull it towards you, well, towards the middle of the car, and it will release. Now the other side does have the centre seat belt held down here. It's recommended that you take that seat out, but you can just place it in a different place, so that's what I'm going to do. So you can see I've just moved the driver side seat into the boot, which will be fine for what we're trying to do. And all we need to do is take the base up itself. Easiest way to do it, pull up on both sides. Then you push forwards and it'll release the catch. So there's a little catch at the back. These which you're trying to unclip from here. So with the seats out, you need to remove plastic panel up top. You see a Torx bit in there which you need to take out, and also the tie down eye that you'll need to take out as well. Now what you should be able to do start to peel back the carpet. So we want access to this bit here. So do that on both sides. So what I've done, I've pulled the carpet back, just held it in place with tape onto the rear lenses, and you do have enough on the belt to take those driver seats out. Just have them on the side of the car, still bolted down in the middle. So what I've done next, using the bungee cords into the two corners here, attached it to the actual brace. Now just hold it into place while I'm positioning it. Just some things to note, when you're placing it, this should be completely flat onto the panel. There is a sweet spot, if you like, where it will lie completely flat. There'll be no space between the corners and the car itself. Around this area there's a lot of spot welds. You need to be careful, you're not going to be drilling through the spot welds or near the spot welds, so there is clearance top and bottom. Now when it comes to aligning it, I've taken as gospel and trust in VW that the distance here on the panel, so that join where those two bits of metal join, is the same on both sides. So I'm going to use that to measure to make sure that I've got the brace sitting straight and flat. So this is kind of the important bit. You want to try to make sure that this is all level, the same width apart from each other. The more time you spend doing this, the easier it should go together. What's that expression? Preparation is key. So we'll get an idea where that is. That looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to lock that into place. I'm going to scribe them the top two, and I'm going to drill one, then refit it, and then just make sure it's all good. Because one thing I've learnt with nut inserts, you just need to make them right, because that's where the strength of this thing's going to come into it. So it's all about how this is going to go together well. Fingers crossed. Much use anything. I'm just going to use this. It's a metal punch. Well, it's actually a wood punch, but yeah, it will do. So you want to get right in the middle, obviously, and give it a smack. All you're trying to do is dent the metal so that the drill bit has got something to bite into. Okay, so we need to do a 1/2 inch hole. That's a big old drill bit, and if you've got the balls to go straight into it with that, fair play. I haven't, so I'm going to start off with a smaller drill bit, work up, then finally do the 1/2 inch. A lot of metal is going to be flying, so safety goggles. I've got a hoover set up here, so it's going to catch the swell. If you do get anything dropping down, I think it's only going to drop down at the bottom, so you should be able to hoover that up anyway. If you are listening on headphones, about now would probably be a good idea to turn them down, because the hoover's going to go on and so's the drill. Or if you're a masochist, turn it up. So, there's the hole. So I've installed the nut inserts on both of them on the top. I've installed them and I've used them to drill the centre holes while it's in situ, so it should be okay. So I'll get them done and come back. So just to go through how this thing works, the big part, put the bolt in, wind this right in. The insert goes in, screw it on, and you put that into the hole. Get your spanner on the small end, that goes into the hole. Make sure it's flush. You just start to nip it up, putting a bit of pressure on it. It'll be hard at first, and then once you feel it going a bit easier, you know that it's mushrooming, and then it will tighten up again, and that's pretty much where it needs to be. I always nip them up a bit more. You've got to be a bit careful, because you can, depending how strong you are, fuck them up. But I always give them a little bit more of a turn with a bit more leverage. You just crack them off. You should be able to undo the bolt. Nice flush. Nut insert. So flush. Ready to install. So I've done all four now. Well, the other one's there. So I'm just going to test fit it. So just test fitting, they should all be relatively easy to spin. You shouldn't need to put any force on them. Just spin them round. So I'm quite happy so far. So these ones here as well. So now, just putting everything back together again. You'll need to find on the carpet where the holes need to be made. The easiest way, when you fold it round, have a sort of look where it is. Get your hole punch, kind of guess it, and just draw that hole through, and then the other one as well. Just draw it through. All I'm going to do to make these holes, I'm just going to get the drill out again and drill through the carpet, so that should give me the clearance. So I just drilled through the holes. They're not the cleanest cuts in the world. If you just take a knife, it should help if it's fucking sharp. Just clean them up a little bit. And then put the interior back in. And remember to put all the bits back. Cool, now the other side. So it turns out I'm a bit of a wally and I forgot to show me putting the seats back in and fitting it. But yeah, you just obviously fit the bolts where they are. So they're there and there. Put the seats back in, so the two corners over there slide in first, then you seat the seat back in the middle part, put the bracket back on, put the screw in and the little cover on top. And yeah, there you go. Nice and fitted, nice and secure. Been in the car for about a week now. And really quite impressed, to be honest. On another note, I've been asked by a few people if the clusters that I did are working okay. And yeah, so colour cluster all working, looking pretty good. And I can't claim credit for well, I can putting them in, yeah I can, but the wiring behind it and coding it in, haven't got a clue. There you go, there's the colour dash.